So let's talk about this battle of the queen bees. Things are getting intense between Nancy Pelosi and AOC. So let's go ahead and talk about what is going on here, because it is actually really showcasing what is wrong with our democracy. So let me explain. So after a dispute about the border funding, that is when these two got into it, because AOC, along with three other of the freshman congresswomen, Rashida Tlaib, Pramila Jayapal, and Ilhan Omar, they're the squad. They're the new squad. They actually opposed the recent border funding for the migrant crisis that is going on. And I personally am not in line with them on that vote. I don't think that was the correct way to go. I think people have desperate and dire needs, and you have to take care of that first, and then we can get on to politics. So same thing with like the whole Wayfair beds crisis, where people are saying, oh, they didn't want Wayfair to build beds for these kids, and because they just morally don't agree with the kids even being there. Look, I don't care what the kids need beds. People need funding. We need to give them toothbrushes. They need bigger, better facilities. They need blankets. They need all of these things. That is just immediate, emergent needs. We need to get that to them. And then we can start squabbling about our politics, and we can figure out ways to get the things that we want, like if the ultimate goal is to get them out of there or whatever it might be. So I personally am not for this, for these four women, their vote against the border funding package. But let's move on here to the actual squabble. So Nancy Pelosi, in response to one of these four saying something on Twitter about this border funding, Nancy Pelosi goes and makes a public statement, and she says, all of these people have their public whatever and their Twitter world, but they didn't have any following. They're four people, and that's how many votes they got. Okay, so what she's saying is that no one else in Congress agreed with them. They were four. Only those four voted against it, and that was it. AOC then heard that and then stated this week she was talking to the Washington Post. She says, when these comments first started, I kind of thought that she was keeping the progressive flank at more of an arm's distance in order to protect more moderate members, which I understood. But the persistent singling out, it got to a point where it was just outright disrespectful, the explicit singling out of newly elected women of color. So then Pelosi responded, and she said, they took offense because I addressed, at the request of my members, an offensive tweet that came out of one of the members' offices that referenced our blue dogs and New Southern Democrats essentially as segregationists. And then she went on to say, that's all I'm going to say about this. And a lot of people that have been commenting about this squabble, so many people have been saying, you shouldn't have public disagreements with your colleagues. You should leave that behind closed doors. They say that this is something that, imagine if you got into a fight with your coworker, you wouldn't want to go and put it on blast on Twitter or on Facebook or wherever. You would hopefully go and have the decency to go and have a private conversation with your coworker and sit down and say, this is where I disagree with you. However, we're not public officials. So I disagree with a lot of the people that are coming out saying this shouldn't be in the public sphere. Yes, it should. These are our elected officials, and we're paying them out of our tax dollars. Yes, it should. We have the right to see all the squabbles. These are not things that they should just be keeping behind closed doors. That's the problem with politics. We don't want them keeping things behind closed doors anymore. We want things out in public. We want to see the squabbles. We want to know what is going on. So I disagree with all of the people coming out saying, you should probably do this on your own time and not on the American people's time. Well, no, you know what? You're on the American people's dime. So you do it on our time, okay? Secondly, this is the one thing. Now, I love AOC. I think she's very, very smart. And what I love about her is she is a Molotov cocktail like Trump, who's been doing, in maybe not the best ways, but Trump is kind of that Molotov cocktail that's disrupting the system. And AOC is another one of those. We're going to see even more in the future. These are not the only two. AOC is very much this disruptor, and it is very much agitating, to the establishment. People don't like her. They don't like the fact that she has the power of the people, that she is not operating under the same rules, that she is there to just shake shit up. And it is great. That is what I love about her. What I don't like in particular is that I've noticed this kind of shift from her from more of the economic disparity policies that I believe are at the root of all of our problems. The root of all evil is money in America. That is the problem. We've got to get a handle on the obscene amount of money that is being spent in our politics, that people are able to accumulate at the expense of others. That is what the bigger issue is. And a lot of people on the left want to instead turn around and say, no, the issue is you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're against brown people, you're against black people, you're against people of color. I don't believe that is true. I think that stuff is hyperinflated. It is made for people to fear on both sides. You've got one side using fear tactics of, we're going to deport you, you don't belong here. You have the other side using fear tactics saying, well, you're a racist, you're a bigot. And I've personally taken part in it at first too. When Trump won, I was in shock, like many people. And I had my moment. I had my months, of being angry and being that way. But then I eventually came to my senses. Some people are just taking longer to come to their senses, I've noticed. Some people came to their senses a lot faster, and some are still out in the wild with it. And with AOC, I noticed, when she first ran for Congress, she was running as a Justice Democrat, very much in line with Bernie Sanders-style progressive policies. But one thing she noted in an interview with The Intercept, she did a podcast interview with them, and she said that she realized if she wanted to win, that she couldn't just run on economic populism policies, that she had to actually kind of adopt this intersectionality, social justice warrior narrative as well. That to me, I'm not down with it. I don't really like it that much. I mean, I do want equality in America for sure. I just think that stuff is overblown. So I get annoyed when AOC kind of goes down that road. I get annoyed with any of them when they go down that road. But I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think she's great in so many other ways, and she's so intelligent. Which I've got another video that I'm going to do about her she talked about some economic stuff, but anyway, let's get to this. So I don't like that she kind of waved the whole racist flag over at Pelosi and at the Blue Dog and the Southern Democrats. I don't think that's the way to go. Now, that to me was, don't go that road. But let's look more at what Nancy Pelosi said, because this is where we're seeing the real breakdown in our democracy. This is the fundamental problem. Nancy Pelosi just shoved it in our face. Remember this quote she just said, all these people have their public whatever. Their public whatever. Really? You mean support of American people? You mean constituents, American voters? You mean the public at large? Oh yeah, the public whatever. This is the fundamental problem. The public whatever is not nearly as powerful as the purse. And that is what Nancy Pelosi has. She has the power of the purse, and AOC has power of the people. And that is threatening to the establishment. They don't want people with power of the people because they've got their way of doing things. The money in politics controls everything, and they don't want all of us minions getting in the way of this. So her statement right there, when she's talking about AOC and her public whatever and her Twitter world, is an absolute showcasing of everything that is wrong with American politics. And this is on the Democratic side and the Republican side. They don't listen to us. We are not in charge. It is the purse, not the people, that are in charge. And Nancy Pelosi just admitted it straight up. They're public whatever, because that's how they view us. Public whatever. Who cares? Yeah, so what? You got all those millions of people who follow you and listen to you. Who cares about them? We're going to keep doing the things the way we've always done them. You got your public whatever. I mean, this is what we're fighting against. This is the establishment. This is the problem. And I guarantee you, if the American people held a vote today for who is going to be the next Speaker of the House when Nancy Pelosi finally retires, it would be AOC. How many of you want to bet AOC would win that vote? But what are the chances the people are going to get what the people want? What are the chances AOC is actually going to be the next Speaker of the House? Probably not very high, because we're just the public whatever, and we don't control really what's going on in Washington. Yeah, we're just minions. We're just those millions of minions. But we're not millions of dollars. And that's what does the speaking. And Nancy Pelosi just exposed it. Thank you so much for watching this channel. If you like it, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that stuff that kind of helps beat the algorithm, because they are suppressing the channels. And I do want to thank you so much for watching. It is my 6-month anniversary. I've been doing this show now for 6 months, believe it or not. And I do want to just take a moment and thank you guys for the support. Thank you so much for watching the channel. The growth has been phenomenal, way more than I ever dreamed of. Honestly, in 6 months' time, having a channel that is at 140 something thousand subscribers right now, I definitely did not anticipate this at all. And it has been a tremendous relief to be able to get to this point, because now it's looking like I'm going to be able to get to a point where I might, I'll be able to live, and also maybe even hire somebody to help make the show even bigger and better, because I really want to make this into something great for you, something very special. And it's important to me to be able to do this without having any bias or people swaying me or whispering in my ear telling me what I need to say, or threats from advertisers. And I came out of kind of corporate media world. I understand how it works, how you don't want to piss people off, and you always have to tiptoe around things. And what is really wonderful in being in independent media is not having to worry about that. The one thing we do have to worry about here in independent media is the Google algorithms squashing us, and they are squeezing us. I haven't checked it recently. I did see massive growth for me personally in this channel in the month of this last month. I actually gained 60,000 subscribers in 1 month, which is unbelievable. So I can't really say the algorithm has squashed me. That would be a little bit disingenuous for me to say. But I did look at my it was probably about a month ago. I haven't checked recently, but I did look, and I was getting way fewer views from suggested videos than from subscribers. So I would need to check it again. Maybe I just got lucky and I'm not being suppressed as much, but as some of the others, which they've been able to show through their graphs. But either way, support all of independent media, all of the independent journalists out there, because you're just getting unbiased information with a clear lens, real news, rather than, you turn on the TV and you just get bombarded with what I think is often junk. So I really appreciate your support of not only this channel, but of the other great independent media channels on either side of the spectrum, and independents alike. I watch many different types. I enjoy many different types of channels from all sides of the spectrum. There's some great talent out there. And we really all, I know I shouldn't speak for everybody else, but I'm going to just for a second, but we all appreciate you. So thank you again so much.